Chairman and Madam Secretary, welcome to the hearing room. There are plenty of witnesses here that saw you come in on crutches and that you did not acquire those crutches while here. And we assure you that we will protect your ankles at all costs. This is the 7th year of the department, 7th year of this subcommittee, Mr. Chairman. The subcommittee continues its nonpartisan, bipartisan effort to aid the department in effecting Homeland Security. Something I'm very proud of and want to see continue. However, Madam Secretary, to put it mildly, I am very concerned about the budget request, frankly, as well as the current state of the department, some of which was alluded to by the chairman. The Christmas Day terrorist attack punctuates what has been a steady stream of challenges to our Homeland Security over the last year, including several al-Qaeda-led attacks, multiple homegrown terrorist plots, escalation of the murderous drug war along the southwest border, an outbreak of swine flu, numerous cyber attacks, thousands actually, and horrific natural disasters all across the country, as well as the recent catastrophic earthquake in Haiti. And then just last week, all of our nation's intelligence chiefs testified before the Senate that the likelihood of an al-Qaeda attack occurring in the U.S. over the next 3 to 6 months is, quote, certain, quote. In the face of all this, I'm troubled by what appears to be a greater emphasis upon political correctness, global public opinion polls, and other domestic priorities, rather than a serious focus downrange for the next terrorist threat, the next natural disaster, or the next unprovoked attack upon the American people. That brings me to your budget request for next year. One look at this budget suggests the administration's plan for moving forward through the next, the current threat environment is to severely cut our frontline security capabilities, grow DHS's administrative offices with double-digit increases, delay investments in critical operational assets, avoid true visible budgeting for key programs, ignore congressional mandates, reporting requirements, and waste $250 million on the cost of security for terror trials. Madam Secretary, with threats confronting us at every turn, when our country needs fiscal discipline from its government, this budget proposal is simply indefensible. In the 7 years that we've examined DHS budget requests, I don't think I've seen a proposal that so poorly prioritizes and so badly fails to address the realities our country is currently facing. More to the point, there are many aspects of this budget that I find questionable. First, in the wake of the Christmas Day terrorist attack, the administration has submitted a proposal for aviation security that spends tens of millions of dollars more on staffing than it does on advanced technology or the systems that screen foreign travelers. How can the President honestly believe such a costly and reactionary approach will effectively address our strategic needs in aviation security? Second, in the midst of the drug war, how can you propose to significantly decrease the interdiction capabilities of the Border Patrol and Coast Guard but requests to increase the funds for bureaucrats in Washington, D.C., in virtually every office within headquarters. Third, how can the Congress even contemplate the administration's substantial cuts to SBI Net and Deepwater when the investment plans and oversight reports required by law have been completely ignored? And finally, at a time of persistent threats and record deficits, what is the justification for severely reducing everything from port and cargo security to infrastructure protection and cybersecurity, and then at the same time wasting $250 million on security costs for trying terrorists on U.S. soil? Closing Guantanamo Bay and trying terrorists in civilian courts might win the popular vote in France and Norway, but it won't deter one single terrorist, and it won't make this country any safer. The American people don't support bringing terrorists to their hometowns or trying them in civilian courts. And I have serious reservations about supporting any bill that includes funding for such purposes. Now, having said all of this, I know the country's going through some very rough economic times, and the sad state of the nation's finances will necessitate difficult trade-offs. And I certainly agree with President Obama when he states that we must live within our means, a principle that must apply to Homeland Security as well. But the foremost role of government is to provide for the safety and security of the country and its citizens. I've said many times since 9/11, we must get our security right. We must find a way to balance our scarce resources across our competing priorities and numerous vulnerabilities in order to confront every threat with relentless tenacity, purpose, and rigor. While I realize the enormity of this chore, it is a duty the American people are counting on us to fulfill, and there is no room for failure. There is no margin here. Madam Secretary, I know you have a tough, often thankless job. All the more reason we must avoid throwing more money and more government at programs that won't improve our security. Sadly, however, this 2011 budget request misses the mark and makes me sincerely question the administration's priorities. Mr. Chairman, I think we certainly have our work cut out for us this year. I look forward to asking many questions today and in the future.